is. One of the most important reasons why I wanted you to talk is not only because you're an amazing woman and I love you and you've been a friend for years and you have so much to share, but because of the way you've done your team, and you've helped people be standout individuals, as well as you guys come together as a standout team, each having its own authentic description and personality and culture come together. And I think that's magic, because I've seen so many teams that are the person who runs the team is the team, and then everybody else gets lost behind the sign. And I think it's a tribute to why teams can work. Not that everybody needs to be on a team, but if people are not being on teams because they feel like they're going to get lost, that's not the only choice. It's not an either or. And I wanted you to you particularly, I think, have done such an amazing job of really paying attention to how do we make everybody be better, as well as develop a culture that people understand runs through everybody in the team as well as the team as a whole. And so I know that you do some of the most amazing client support and events. I love your marketing. I don't know if any of the rest of you are on any of Heather's marketing, but Heather has some just really quite incredible marketing. And then the month of November, I think you'll talk about that, what you do in November. And there's different times that you just know that this belongs to her. It's got her signature on it and her team's signature on it. So it's 5 after. I'm going to let you take this and go. So for all of you who don't or were not with us when Heather was one of our main stage page presenters, this is Heather Roxburgh, and she is the broker owner of the Roxburgh group in Salt Lake City, Utah, and around that area. And Heather, you can tell whatever else you want about yourself. Heather and I have been friends through the Buffini network for up to 19 years.
Very long time.
Very, very long time. We've spent a lot of time together. We've traveled together. We've laughed. We've cried. We've done all kinds of things together. So I just really want to share her and all of her wisdom with all of you. So here she is.
Thanks, Carol. So I guess I'll give a little background. So I've been doing this for about real estate for 16 years. And obviously I started out as an individual agent. And I'm gonna, as I go into my PowerPoint, I will talk about teams and why I started one, a little bit about who should have one and maybe who shouldn't have one, being on a team, what it is like or can be like, and then just how I market my team and myself to our database. So hopefully that will give you guys some really good information to, implement into your own businesses if you find something that kind of sticks with you. So do you want me just to do screen share and I can get started? I made a PowerPoint. I'm not very good at Zoom. I was just testing this out. So we'll see if it all works. So
we have time. We have patience. So
all right.
There it is. See?
You see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yay. My wonderful staff just helped me with this because I couldn't get it to work. Okay, so Carol kind of named the topic, keeping it real with or without a team. I actually am on panels and I talk to a lot of agents about whether or not they should have a team. So I'm going to kind of start with this. And really, what I'm going to go over with you all is basically like my experience and kind of my journey with a team and how I set this all up. Like Carol said, I think it's the way that I operate and I think is really important is making sure that each one of the agents on my team has their own individuality. And I've been able to retain my agents. And I believe that that's a huge reason why, because the team for me isn't just all about Heather Roxburgh. It's about the people on my team. And I also will say with that, When I get referrals, I think as a team leader, like one of the hardest things I had to get accustomed to was taking my precious people, because these are our clients and our friends, because we work by referral, right? And having them call me to work with me and actually turning them over to a team member. That I think as a team lead is one of the most challenging things to do. But because I do market my team so well, my clients see them every month, they know who they are. So when I get referrals, a lot of times my clients will reach out to me and say, can you or someone on your team help my daughter? So it's so much easier when you do that and it's not just all about yourself. So I'll go into some of that. So this is kind of what we're going to cover: why start a team, who should start one, and just being authentic on one. So why? So I'm sure many of you on the call have teams. Some of you may be individuals. So, but when I first started my team, I actually worked at Remax, and they were not pro team. This was many years ago. And I had so many leads coming in. I couldn't keep up with them. And I was actually, I was spread really, really thin. And I started to see that like my customer service to my clients was starting to deteriorate just a little bit, because I had so many clients I was trying to work with and do everything myself. And so those were the two main reasons why I ended up bringing on my very first agent. And like I said, I wasn't trying to start a team, but I had to do it. Otherwise I was turning away business. And I do believe that, you can end up, you can probably sell, 40, 50 houses a year by yourself if you have an admin, but you will hit a ceiling at some point where you just can't do more. So, that's kind of the experience I had with why I started my team initially. And then I always ask people when I meet with agents, should you even have one? Because I think that having a team, you've got to really look at, do you want to have team members? Because Carol can probably answer to this, but when you bring on people on your team, your responsibilities go through the roof. I know I talk to people and they think, oh, I'm going to bring on an agent and it's going to free up so much of my time. Well, if you bring on an agent and you do it the right way, it's going to take up a lot of your time. And it's probably going to be one of the hardest things you do, because you become, you kind of become a coach to them. So I think it's really important that if you bring on a team member, an agent, whether they're a listing agent, a buyer's agent, sales agent, however you structure, that you have enough leads coming in to help supplement their leads. But it's, because you're going to try and teach them to bring in their own leads. But I think also having the ability to provide leads to them as well, because that provides value to them. And then one of the number one things I see agents do when they start teams is they bring on an agent before they have an admin in place. And I kind of feel like that's backwards, because you need an admin in place to be able to help create those systems and processes. So you've got that in place. And I'll go over some of that too when you do bring on someone on a team. Mm-hmm. And then do you have the desire to actually like lead, mentor, and coach an agent? And there's, when I bring people on my team, they're coming on my team to get my expertise and my help and my coaching. And we work by referral, as you guys all do. And so I need to bring them on and teach them how to do that. And if I don't have the desire, and it's a lot of work, right? Or the capacity to do it, then I need to rethink whether I should or should not have, bring somebody onto my team. And then you've got to be willing, like I talked about before, to delegate and actually give leads to your agents, and then have a process to follow. So, and then I have, setting yourself up for success. So I've done everything in the world wrong with a team, and I've done a lot of things right. And because I didn't have anyone, again, I started my team really early on, and I didn't have anyone to help me and guide me and show me the way to do it. So I've made every mistake. I could actually do a class on all the things wrong not to do. But if you're going to start a team, I think it's very, very important before you bring on your first agent that you have a sales agent contract, and that you have a policy and procedure manual, so that you can set expectations for them, that they know exactly what their splits are. It's crazy how often I talk to people that say, I don't have a contract in place. And so what happens if that person leaves your team? Who owns the leads? there's so many things you have to think about. Do you have a non-compete? What if you give a referral to one of your agents and then they get a referral, or that person comes back to them and wants to buy another house? Do you get compensated? So having a good contract in place is really important. And then I have job descriptions for each one of my agents. So I have several agents on my team. So, you can set up a team in many different ways. You can have a buyer's agent that only works with buyers, a listing agent that only does listings, or for a long time. So I've had both. And then I've also done just a sales agent where they can do listings or buyers. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I think it's important to have job descriptions, because expectations are the number one thing. So being able to manage them, I think, is extremely important for each position. So like for us, we've got buyer agent contracts, sales agent. I have showing assistants. We have ways that I've got some job profiles and kind of ways that my agents can actually grow. So depending on the number of transactions they do, so it's all spelled out. So they know exactly what they're getting into, or, what they're doing when they come onto my team. And then we have a really solid onboarding process to help them set up emails and set up voicemails, and it's very detailed out. So my onboarding process goes into every single detail of coming onto my team, down to business cards. And then I have a 30, 60, 90 in place where I have a plan for their first 30 days, the next 30 days, and the next 30 days. So it goes into a 90-day training program. So they know what they're going to be doing every day when they come into the office and every single week. And like in the beginning, when I first started this, I did not have that in place. And, I'm just like, oh, you're on my team. Great. There's your desk. Oh, here's a buyer, go sell a house, versus having an actual plan for them, because there's a lot of days where they come in and they're like, what am I supposed to do today? I don't know. I'm so busy over here, right, that I don't have, and I'm just kind of, that's the best way for somebody to walk off your team, is basically what I'm trying to say. If you don't have a really good process in place when you bring them on, so that they know what they're doing, and then they get the proper training as well. And then I hold weekly team and individual meetings. So I used to kind of have things scattered throughout my calendar. And one thing that's worked really well for me and for everyone on my team is we have one team meeting day where they come in for the sales agent meeting. We all meet together as a team. The admin is there. And then I will immediately go into individual meetings with each agent on my team. And so they're able to get their meetings done all at once, and we do some training, and then they can go on throughout their week. So it's not all scattered. And I used to have it scattered, and it was hard on me. And when I changed it to one day a week, it was super helpful for everyone. And then I think it's important that you have like a daily huddles with your agents, whether they jump on Zoom or they physically come into an office. But just to, what are you doing today? We also do script practicing, which I hate to call it scripts because it's more dialogue. I think that's probably a better word for what we all do through Buffini as well. And just helping them with objections and things like that. So we have a touch base, and I do that with my admin too, which is really important. And then we have a training every single week. And so being that we're all with Buffini, we'll go through, we just finished 100 Days to Greatness. I know Pathway to Mastery will be the next one that we start. And so we will rotate through that. And then any other trainings that I have in my office. So if we create a new system, we might we'll throw that in and skip a week of a different training so that they're getting trained on our systems and our processes. So that's how we kind of do it on my team. And then in regards to systems and processes, so this is probably an area where I have the most strength and I'm the strongest. I have a theory that if you do anything at all more than once, it should be a system. So an example of that, if you have to retype an email, like say you're sending an offer, right? I was finding myself I'm sending an offer and I'm typing an offer up to an email template basically to send over to the agent. And then I realize I'm just spending all this time retyping the same thing basically. So I'm going to make a system out of it, and then I'm going to give it to all my agents as well. So we have an email template, a for every single thing that we possibly do. And if we come up with something new that we need to do, we add it to, we have a checklist as well. We add it to our checklist. And did somebody need to ask a question? No? Okay, you're on mute. But anyways, so we have a system and a process for every single thing that we do. And we're constantly refining them, rewriting them if need be. I mean, the market changes, right? So some of those things will change as time goes on. But I did that before I brought agents on my team. And it just really helps because I want my everything to be very cohesive. If my agents are sending emails out to our database, I want them to talk like I would talk basically, but have their own individuality with it. So very professional. So, we've got, you can see the examples, but just systems for everything. And then once you have systems for things, especially if you're doing like pop buys or social media, I think it's really, really important to have a good marketing plan, and it needs to be in a calendar. So versus just, oh, I got to post on social media this week. So I'm going to, your brain can only retain so much information. And are you really going to get it done if it's not in a calendar and it's just automatic? So an example that I like to give is our note writing. When we need to send out, so when we get referrals, we have a system for our referrals. So if Carol sends me a referral, she sends it in to me. I'm gonna ask my admin to write a note card and put it on my desk so I can write Carol a personal note. Then I give it back to them, and then they mail a gift out. But we don't just do those sporadically throughout the week. I get all the notes on the same day every week. I write the notes on the same day. I turn the note in, and then they mail the package out on the same day each week. So it's very systematized, which I think also saves a lot of time. So it's just, and reactivity, because otherwise you're just reacting to things all the time versus following a schedule. So I'm really, really big on a schedule. And then that just keeps everything consistent. Because consistency really is what our clients are looking for. And it gives us a lot more control as well. So, and then as far as hiring goes, I have a pretty intense hiring process. And, I used to just do an interview, maybe meet somebody twice and then bring them on. I find that I don't get my very best employees that I could probably get doing it that way. And so if you're hiring admin or even agents to come onto your team, we put our people through a pretty rigorous hiring process. And we have a great system for that. And I will say that I found my very best team members by doing that and by following the process and not skipping steps, because it's really easy to, usually we hire out of like immediate need versus what we're trying to grow and build in the future. And that would be another kind of key point tip is hire for where you're going, not always for right where you're at, because then you do it out of scarcity. And then you end up with maybe not the right person, but then we keep that person in that role. So, and then my best thing is, hire slow, fire really fast. And I've made all those mistakes. So I'm the person that will give someone a chance and keep them on way too long when I know, and it just costs the business money. It costs my mental health money because if you have the wrong person, they're the wrong person. And usually there's frustration that comes with it. So now I am going to kind of go into a little bit of marketing and how I market my team and how we have things set up. Number one is branding. And I think we've all heard everything in the world about branding. So y'all know about branding, but so I've always had a really cohesive brand as well. So we have our brand colors, our logo, all of our fonts. I think it's extremely important when you're growing your team because you want everything to look exactly the same across all platforms. So if you're doing social media posts or sending out newsletters, any direct mail, everything needs to look consistent. These are my brand colors. So we are kind of a purplish burgundy color, but it's important to me that if my marketing gal is putting something on social media, she's not got bright purple when that's not our brand color. So just being really consistent with that. If you've had a brand for a really long time, or maybe maybe you don't have some of these items incorporated into your brand, do a brand refresh. And I just built a building. And so we moved our team and I decided to refresh everything. So we just barely did this brand refresh. We just launched it, I want to say maybe a week ago. I know, Carol, have you had Greg Chaplin? You know Greg Chaplin, right?
Yes.
He's
Right.
got a daughter who is phenomenal, and she basically does branding, and she's very affordable. So if anyone needs a brand or a brand refresh, I highly recommend her, and I can send her information.
Yeah,
But
send it.
yeah, I'll send it over to you. So she just took our brand from the Heather Roxburgh group to the Roxburgh group, and you can see how we made those changes. And I took my name out of it just as I'm growing my team, and I'm getting feedback from my agents as well. So if you haven't started a team, the number one tip I would give you is don't make it your name. I think you can attract agents easier that way. So I took Heather out of the brand just because my agents gave me feedback that it's the individuality, right? And made it just the Roxburgh group. So that's something to think about if you don't have a team yet. Be careful what you call it, because I think, again, it's easier to attract agents that way. But I haven't never had a problem, because my agents come to me because they know who I am and they know my reputation, and that's how they end up on my team. But just maybe rethink if it's your name or not. And then I know you've had the fabulous Barbara Betts on here, so I don't need to talk a ton about social media, but because she's the expert. But with my agents, I encourage every one of them to have their own social media presence and not just the Roxburgh group. So I have a full-time marketing coordinator, and she works with my agents. So that's part of our onboarding process. She works with them to help them get their own social media site set up. And she helps them create the posts. So again, everything stays consistent and cohesive with our colors and our fonts and everything that they put out. So we work with them and help them with that. And if you don't have a marketing coordinator and you can't do that, I think it's really important that you do training with them. That I also feel like it's important to really know your demographic and who you're speaking to, and just making sure that you monitor your agents and they're putting good content out there that is cohesive with your brand. And also using it for what it's meant for. If they're going to have their own page, or they're going to market on their individual pages, just making sure everything stays professional and having a little mix of not too much houses, but maybe, a little bit about your life. And again, you guys have talked to Barbara, so she's the best at doing that and stories and whatnot. So, and then marketing. So marketing is probably my favorite part of being in sales. It's kind of my forte. I always say, I say we are marketers before we're sales agents, because if you don't market your business and you don't market it well, the business isn't going to come in like it should or could. So with our marketing, everything that we do on our team is we customize everything. So I don't send out graphs, and I do send out graphs, but we make everything that we do. So we use Canva. We there's a lot of different newsletter formats or options that you can use to create newsletters, but we have marketing pillars. And so I want to make sure that I know my demographic basically in my database, and we have different pillars to speak to different people. So I live out in Utah. I'm in Salt Lake City. So, we have a lot of families here. It's changing a lot because we have a lot of people moving in. So, but we have a lot of families here. So I want to make sure that, we have a lot of millennials too. So if I've got millennials in my database, and I've got a lot of families in my database and single people or whatnot, that I'm hitting each sector, so that people will actually open up my emails and not just send them, delete them or send them to spam or unsubscribe. And we really keep it community based. So I'm not really heavy on pushing, real estate. It's more, right now we're in the holiday season. And so we make sure that we're, posting different places where you can see the trees lit up, or different activities for families and things that are happening in the community. We always have a piece on, what is happening within our market, but we established brand pillars a couple of years ago. And the other thing that it's really done for like myself and my marketing coordinator, it makes it a lot easier to come up with content because you've got the different, I know I need to have a real estate piece. So I'm watching for that each month. And I know I'm going to have something on community. So when I see something, I'll send it to her or she'll come up with things. Technology and lifestyle. So these are our 4 pillars, but it takes a lot of the, I guess, brain damage out of always having to come up with content when you create your own. So if you're sending out your own newsletters, which I highly encourage that for every single agent, no matter what, you're sending something out every month, no matter what. But it's actually very, very easy, even if you do it yourself and you don't have someone that can do that for you, like a marketing coordinator or an admin, that you customize. I feel like customization is really important because there's just so much noise in the world. There's a lot in Salt Lake City. I think like everyone's a real estate agent. So I've got to differentiate myself from all of the others and even the other really great teams around. So, doing customized pieces versus just a template or something that you can buy that everybody else, like I'll use an example, like Compass, right? I'm in a lot of agent databases through Buffini, right? So we're all connected, but I get the same 30 emails that I just delete. I don't even open them up. I don't even look at them. They're all sending out the same stuff. So doing customized pieces, I think just takes it a little step up for you. And then, well, let me go back to this. With that, so each one of the agents on my team, so I have my own database and they all have their own databases, and we all use, I coach with Buffini and we do the teams coaching. So each one of them have their own database. And so we take our newsletters, and for each one of our agents, it's the exact same content, but we send it to their database with their face on it. It's not me. It's got the Roxburgh group, but it's individual to each one of my agents. So that helps them again with the individuality of that. So it's not just them getting an email. It's Heather Roxburgh's email, right? On the one that I send out to my database, I have my whole team on it. So they get to see each agent and what their role is on my team. But then each individual agent, we have our team photo, but then they get to have the individual. It comes from them. It comes from their email address and not from mine. So that's how we do it with the newsletters. And then we do a direct mail postcard campaign. And so these are 2 examples. Some of you may be on my mailing list. If you're not and you want to be, send your information to me and I'll add you to it. And you'll get all of our marketing. If I would to go back to newsletters really quickly, one thing I would encourage every single agent that gets into the business to do right out of the gate is to create your own real estate agent database. So because I'm with Buffini, I'm obsessed, right? So I go to all these events, and I've been going to events for 16 years. And when I collect a business card, they go in my database, every single person. And I create relationships with them just like I do my own clients. That's how I know Carol. And I get a lot of referrals. When we went through COVID, a lot of people weren't moving, and probably, I would say about 40% of my actual business that year came from my agent database, because so many people were moving in or out, right? So it was immensely helpful when my own clients were like, I'm not moving. And then I have this great agent database, and they're like, all these people are moving to Salt Lake City because it's a hot spot. And I did a massive amount of business because I have a presence, and I've also taken the time to create that database and cultivate it just like I do my clients. Because technically other agents, they're our friends and whatnot, and we can learn a lot from them, but they are also our clients as well. So each month I have a newsletter that I send out that only goes to business owners. So if you guys were in my database as an agent, you would get my monthly newsletter. And what I do with that is I'll send out my hiring process, for example. So it'll be, do you have a good hiring process? here's every single step that we have, and you'll get everything. So I love to share. So, you know, do you have a marketing calendar? Do you know how to hold a client party? I'll give you my checklist. So that's the kind of content that we send out to the agents each month. So I'm staying in front of them as well, versus, you know, adding somebody and them forgetting who you are. So it's important that you know, you stay in front of other agents like you do your clients. And then we do the direct mail, and so agents get this as well. But it's really important to me that my pieces, everything that goes out, has my whole team on it. So sometimes you'll see 2 examples of my postcards. So the one that says "Shower us with love," that was just me and my agents. We didn't have enough space to get us all on there. You know, the other one has my whole team. So we kind of mix it up a little bit. Every once in a really great while, it might just be me, but we have to do the pictures. So usually it's like, we can't get the whole team together, so it's going to be Heather. But that's very far and few between. My goal of doing this is so that my clients see our team. I think it shows strength with them, and it also shows them that I have a team. So again, when they call me and say, you know, can you help my daughter? It's not, Heather, you need to work with my daughter. It's, can you or someone on your team call my daughter? And that's so much easier to, you know, for your clients to feel really comfortable, because they know that whatever I built, my agents on my team are going to provide the exact same kind of service. So, and then we do these postcards because I want my clients to see my face every month, no matter what. So they can't get rid of me, and they can't forget me. And they're not going to forget my name ever. So, you know, when you ask somebody who was your last agent and they don't even know their name, like, that's just bad. So never want that. So I've gone into in depth about branded newsletters, but this is kind of how we brand them with our pillars and whatnot. Again, you know, I encourage you to do some customized pieces if you don't already do that. So, and then client appreciation events. So I started doing events. So I got licensed in 2006, and my wonderful Buffini coach, Darren Jackson, he like forced me to do my first event in 2008. And I was terrified to do it because I didn't know if people would come, you know. I think that's like the #1 fear we all have in the beginning. And I got really lucky, and I hold my first event. I had 250 people come. In fact, I didn't even know what to do. I was like, we have too many people. What just happened? But I learned really quickly the huge impact that events have, because you get to see your clients face to face. You get to catch up with everyone. And then you get to see a lot of people at the same time versus trying to hit everyone and do pop buys. And then we hold really nice events. We do really, really fun things. And so I do think like it's great to show, you know, your team. People can get to know the other people on your team. And it's a really good way to leverage your time and your money, bringing everybody to you. So like the reverse pop buy, like the pie party, that a lot of us do. And then I always encourage my clients to bring somebody that I need to meet. And so usually if I hold an event, my clients are really good about bringing people that they're going to refer to us. So we get to meet them, and then we add them to our database, and then they continue to come back, and we get the opportunity to work with them. So after I held my first event and I saw that it was kind of like a gold mine, basically, of like, and a great way to leverage my time. Over the last several years, we've added, and we do about 5 events a year. So I like to be in front of people once a quarter, and obviously that's excessive, or it can be excessive or not. It just depends on the size of your business and the kind of turnout and stuff that you get. But the other great thing about events, if you do them well, is you have so many. You have so many touches before the event. You get to see them during the event, and then we always have a post-marketing plan. So an example, like our pumpkin patch, we always have a photographer at all of our events. We take pictures, we have a photo booth, and we will always print the photos, and we will mail them out, or we'll deliver them depending on the event. So we do a Valentine dinner for our top clients every year. And we take the pictures, we frame them, and we do a pop by after the fact. So there's a lot of touches. So with us doing 5 events a year, we're calling through our database pretty much almost every single month, because we call and invite everyone. And so we're talking to our clients. And so we're, it's another great way to really stay in front of them. And, events don't have to be expensive. I think Carol and I the other day got on a quick call and we talked about, the pie party and doing a drive-through. And I think after COVID, people like making things convenient, just like the Zoom call is a really easy way for you guys to do events, but have it be really easy for your clients to come to. When we had COVID, we did an Easter egg drive-through, and that was probably one of my favorite parties I've ever done, because I got to walk up to the door and just actually talk to every person and check in with them, see how they're doing. So, I know a lot of people do, the shredding events, and even like an ice cream social. You could do an ice cream drive-through. You could do so many things that make it really easy for people to come and see you and for you to catch up with people. So if you're not doing events, I would encourage, and I would do more than one a year. Carol, you guys do, how many do you do? Do you do a lot?
Team wise, we do 3 or 4, and then the company also gets behind us on several of them that we all do together. So yeah, there are client events going on all the time. Plus we built our offices to be able to have the agents use them for client events. Most of the offices have that kind of capacity. So yeah, it's a highly encouraged part of our lead generation and cultivation. So
I'll chime in real quick. So thank you guys. So yeah, Carol, you mentioned that our offices were kind of designed with that in place. And it is, and this is a good moment for other agents to know, like the pie party was incredible, and we've outgrown that for our offices, to be quite honest. But if any of our other agents want to use our offices to have smaller events or events that are that size, please do talk to Justine about setting it up. But Heather, you don't realize our offices are all very pretty, and they're designed to be event spaces.
I just did that with mine, literally made it so that we could host events there. We actually have a big garage door that opens up into the ceiling of our front of our office, so we can open our office up in the summertime when it's not cold. And we did that in our conference room, so we can open our entire space up. So
fantastic.
And yeah. I will say that if anyone were to ask me the number one secret to like why I've been successful, well, there's a lot, but probably getting the amount of referrals that I get, I will say client parties is my number one. If that is the one thing that there is, I will sacrifice in a lot of areas, but I won't with client parties. We do them no matter what. We have a schedule that goes out every single year, and it's easy to get really busy in this industry and be like, oh, I forgot to do the Easter egg hunt this year. They're so important, and people love them and they appreciate them, and people want to give back. So if you're not doing them, do them. And if you guys at Better Homes and Gardens are doing them for your agents, participate. I'm with Keller Williams, and they do a lot of, they do events for our agents as well. I don't go to them. I do my own. Mine are too big. Like I have 1,000. My last pumpkin patch, we had like 1,300 people that came. So they're actually out of control. Now I need to do 2 segments because I can't even talk to as many. That's why we have big parties. Our next party is we have donuts and cookies with Santa. And that is very tiny, intimate. And we only invite like our top people that come and do that one. Because I got to be able to get face-to-face. I can't get face-to-face with 1,300 people. So
that's
it's fun
amazing.
to have the big ones, and it's fun to have the small ones. So we mix it up, but do them if you don't.
So Heather, you said you send a schedule. Do you, at the beginning of the year, do you send out to all your clients, here's our client parties all year?
Yep, we send it out. We do it in a postcard, and we mark your calendars and get it on there. And I mean, people really, really look forward to coming to the events. I mean, our pumpkin patch is a family tradition, and it's not, if I did not do that pumpkin patch, I would crush so many people's hearts. So one time I saw one of my clients, so to get into my Valentine's event, that's kind of our most like elite event. And to get into that every year, you have to send a referral. And I have this one client, her name's Kylie. And one day she posted on Facebook, because we frame the photos again and we deliver them. But she had like 7 Valentine party photos all on one shelf in her house, and she made a post about it. And it's and keep that stuff too. And I'll go into people's homes or I'll go into their offices and they've got their picture framed there. So they have to see my lovely logo in the background every time they look at that and they think of me, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, it's such a fun way to see people and people love it. So if I've had clients that have called me and said, I didn't send you a referral this year. I tried so hard. I'm so sad I can't come to the Valentine event. And I'm like, you get one hall pass and you can come back, but next year you got to get me a referral or you got to buy a house with me. So you can buy an investment property if you want. So, you know, but that's the kind of raving fan that you want to get, right? And you want to host parties where people are really excited to come back. And the kids do. The kids look forward to it too. So
yeah, when you have that momentum going where they are, it's part of their traditions now. Mm-hmm. What you've created has become part of their traditions. I think I told you that for our our pie party, we send invites and we sent it to the son and daughter, and the parents didn't get theirs. And I got an email from the parents and said, I know this is kind of weird that I'm saying, sending this to you, but I didn't. My daughter told me she got an invitation, we didn't get ours, and just wondered if we timed out. Like there was like after 4 years or something, you don't get a pie anymore or something. So that meant a lot to me. It meant that we own a piece of their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we really do. And I think we do a lot more than we actually think we do. So yeah. So do parties. Another thing that we do, this is a huge part of our marketing, is we are always looking for ways to touch our clients, basically. So social media is a great place. We kind of require our agents to be scrolling their social media, finding out when people have their anniversaries and making note of that, when babies are being born, if with birthdays. So as far as like even the birthdays go, I have every day at 10 o'clock, I get a calendar notification with all of my clients' birthdays. So when we onboard a new client, we get their birthday and it goes, and my assistant will put that into my calendar. So every day I'm either calling, texting, or sending one of my clients a happy birthday. And it's funny because they all say, oh my gosh, how did you remember? Like how every single year you remember. They don't know that I get a calendar notification, right? But I do that every day at 10 o'clock. I say happy birthday to the clients in my database, and it means a lot to them again. But if somebody has a baby, we send out a gift, or we actually usually will have one delivered if they live close enough to us. But we will go and just buy everything in bulk. So we've got everything in the office. So if I'm on social media, maybe scrolling Facebook for a minute, and I see that, oh, my client did just have their baby, like we know when they're pregnant, but I screenshot it, send it into my admin, and then a gift goes out like right away. So we have a runner that will come in and deliver gifts and things like that. But I think just being really intentional about watching everything your clients are doing. If I see somebody had an anniversary, I might have the runner go deliver them a bottle of wine because we've already got that. I'm like, oh, their anniversary is today. Get the runner out, go get a bottle of wine over on their doorstep. Those things mean so much to people. And I think, over the years, I've always had this program in place, and my agents, they can take advantage of it or not. It's kind of up to them, but I'm very intentional about that with my database. But, having a system around that as well, if, we might have 20 baby gifts just sitting in the office, so we can just get them out really quickly versus having to go buy things. But I really believe that, people love those little extra touches. We live in such a fast-paced world, and people just don't pay attention as much anymore. You don't see that quite as much anymore. So to get things like that from your realtor really means a lot. And it's just a great way to build relationships. So if you don't have, we call it kind of our WOW program. So, we have a full system around it. We do a gift on the 1-year anniversary of them getting into their new home. And we actually do birthday gifts. So I send a text, or I call, or I send a video, but we also deliver gifts we do this to our top clients. So, we're all classified, the A, Bs, and the Cs. we have a gift that we have delivered when someone goes under contract, and then all the special occasions. So we do a lot, but I do have I've got a really great admin team that they coordinate and facilitate all this. But all of these are all different ways that, as a team or as an individual, you can, really shower your clients with love and get those added touches and referrals. So, and you'll have so much business coming in, you won't be able to do it on your own. So if you don't have a team, you might have to build one. So, and then business alliances, we all being with Buffini, and I'm sure Carol's really big in business alliances, but we do the same thing with our business vendors that we do with our clients and with out-of-state agents. And so I also have a database with just our business alliances that we market to. We have an actual app that we can send to our clients, and we put our most trusted vendors in that app. So when I go and do a listing appointment and somebody needs a cleaner or a painter, any of those things, I can just send them the app, and then they can go in and search on their own and find the vendors. And so that's been a really great tool, and it's a good tool for my agents as well. So we keep, we clean it up every single year. Just make sure that that people are still doing a good job, because I want the vendors I want them to work just like I work and take really good care of people. So if I ever find out someone's not, they get removed. But if you're not working with your business alliances, I would encourage you to do that as well, because they're such a great referral source. Even like my title company is a good example of that. We take such great care of them, and we do pop-bys to them, and we treat them just like we do. They're invited to every party, whether they send a referral or not, because they're our partners. I get their business. So, my escrow officer probably works with 20 agents, right? But when he sold his own house this year, I sold the house. So, I think there's a lot of gold in that area too, where you can get referrals and kind of reciprocate like that. So, and the app there's a really great app called Dizzle, if no one knows what that is, but so you can see kind of an example of my app. But it's really inexpensive. I think it's like $500 a year or something to create your own app and have your vendors in that app, and you can customize it however you want. So I can get you that too, Carol, if you want that.
That'd be great. What did you call it? What was the name?
How do you spell Dizzle?
Just Dizzle.
Okay.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, just all this, if we just follow up and send to me, then I can send it on. So that's
and anything
great.
after the fact, if you're talking to Carol, or if you want to get added to my database, you want the hiring, I'll send you everything. I love to share. So
Great.
If you need job profiles and job descriptions and sales agent contracts and policy and procedure, I have it all. You can just plug in your own stuff. It's all in Word, and you can have your own. So
Love you.
whatever y'all want. You don't have to recreate the wheel. So, and then individual reviews. So I think getting client reviews, I just wanted to throw this in here at the end. I think it's really, really important that you're getting reviews, but you're also really encouraging your agents to get them as well. I wanted to put an example of how my team is on Zillow. And we just put everybody's profiles in Zillow, so you can see like one review. And then I have a lot more than that, but getting the client reviews so that they have a place to go and like give Carmen, for example, a review. Typically, like what I strive for is if my agents get a review, if I see that they mention my team, right? The Roxburgh group did a phenomenal job, and Amanda on the team Amanda's my transaction coordinator, she was so amazing, and Carmen did this, and we all have our different roles, right? In our different areas, but our clients really see the whole package. And usually when we get a review, it's not just Carmen was so phenomenal, we loved working with her. She was amazing, the Roxburgh group rocked, so that's always our goal. And then we know we've really hit the mark and accomplished it when everybody gets kind of that shout out at the very end. So if you're not actively doing, trying to get reviews, we have a process around that. So my transaction manager, she will call up the client, say, I'm emailing you, I'm sending you a text link, please give us a review. we do raffles, we do all kinds of fun little things throughout the year to encourage them to give us more reviews on Google and Zillow and the different platforms. So you know, everybody's online now, so it's important that you're actively doing that a few times a year and really pushing for that. And I mean, on every closing, but then even pushing with some competitions and stuff. So and then just in the end, be consistent with everything that you do. Give everything you do a personal touch. You know, let your agents have individuality. I can say that word. I think it's just really important. I've had really great agents on my team, and over the years, you know, agents come and go as they come on, but typically what happens is you train somebody up so well, if you're doing a great job as a team leader, that they either stay on your team and you can help them build a team within your team, or they get ready to go out on their own, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And then if they go out and be successful, you know, you succeeded, right? So, and that's it. So I think perfect timing.
That's fantastic. Let's go back to our regular screen.
So can I stop here? Stop. Okay.
Yes, thank you. That was amazing. So that was a lot, like a lot. I want to put this out right now real quickly to everybody. Any feedback, any questions, anything you want more to know, please.
I'll speak up first, and I'll just say, Heather, your marketing is fantastic. I've been one of the people that have followed it for a very long time. I remember when I first met you or was introduced to you, I saw you were like doing team photos like you just showed us, like almost every month. And I just thought that was just bizarre and weird, and just, but it was, your marketing was just constantly being updated. I just didn't realize the quality and the level you were doing. And ever since then, I followed you. I'm on your mailing list, and honestly, the best team marketing I've ever seen. It's incredible.
Thank you. It's my favorite thing to do. I love marketing. You can have so much fun with it.
I love, you know, most stuff that I get in the mail, you know, I stand over the trash can and like just put it in. But I'm always like, your stuff gets my attention. It's always lively. It's always personal. It just feels, it feels authentic. And I mean, of all authenticity, I think you've hit it right at the mark. And but one thing I wanted to say is, I think one of the most important things that you said today, actually the most important thing that you said today, is if you do anything more than once, it should be a system.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, if you just think about that one thing was something that all of you or any of you adopted in your business for 2022. If you do something more than one time, it should be a system. Can you imagine how much time you'll retrieve back to do what you love to do, like being in front of people and actually like helping people buy and sell homes instead of thinking of ways to create it? The other thing is having your calendar done at the beginning of the year. And we've been talking about this. I've been talking about this with people that I'm coaching with one-on-one in our classes. And Tim and I have been working on our training calendar for next year. And I think having that gives a sense of relief instead of that, you know, New Year's Day and it's all starting over again. And now I got to just every day trek into recreating. I think the thoughtfulness that goes into having a plan, and yes, of course, there's, you know, always changes and redirects, but having a plan like that is what makes somebody like you have 1,300 freaking people at your client party. That's like crazy.
Wild.
So,
well, and I want to even add to that. So myself and my agents all included, every Sunday they have to send me their weekly plan and a screenshot of their calendar. So I can see if they tell me they're doing pop buys, they're not just, I don't want to hear, I'm doing pop buys. When are you doing them? Well, I'm not sure. Like, I'll probably get them done tomorrow. No. Where are they in your calendar? So even myself, and I tell people, nothing in your calendar is removable, it's movable. So if something comes up, you can always move it. but you need to start your week out every single Sunday with your plan for the week as well. It gives you so much more control of your life back. And we are in the most reactive business I think we could probably work in, right? And so every Sunday when I put mine together and I have to send it to my coach, I know exactly what my week looks like. And yeah, there are things that are going to pop in. You got to, you know, I tell people leave like 80% of your calendar white, but make sure the top 20% of the things that are going to move your business forward are in there no matter what. It's not negotiable. If you need to move something, move it. If you can't hit what you had on Tuesday at noon, put it on Friday at noon. Find a place to put it in the white space. But if it's important enough to be in your calendar, it should not ever be removed or forgotten. So that's a weekly thing that we do. And then when I meet with my agents every Wednesday, we do the 12-week year basically. So we do WHAM meetings. How did you do last week? Did you get any of these things done? If you didn't, why? Well, what can I do to help you? What got in the way? Should it even be on the list? Is it a priority because you've moved it 3 times? Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
But again, it just, you know, the more organized I am, the more systems I have in place, the more I use my calendar super religiously. It just gives me that control back of my day and my life. And at the end, I mean, that gives us the freedom in real estate. Otherwise, we don't have freedom. I mean, we don't. So I would encourage that. And I have a really awesome template for that too, if anybody wants it. So it basically follows the 12-week year, but you kind of plan like your annual goal, and then you break it down into what you want to work on at the time. And then you put it into your 12 weeks and you block it out. And then each week you just go update those things. So it's a really cool format and my agents love it. We just implemented like this actual Google Doc within the last couple months, and they're being way more productive, and they feel more control of their own time too. So
Kristen Lale's saying I would love a copy of that 12-month timeline.
okay.
Some of this basic stuff, you just send him that stuff over for me.
Yeah.
And then I'll send it out to all of you. Somebody else asked for Heather's contact information. When Heather sends me her bulk of things that she's going to send, then I will send it out to all of you who were on this call. So
yeah, if you want to get added to the agent list, just email me and I'll pop you in. So
yeah, and it's very all the things that you get and that you receive from her will be encouraging to you and also give you ideas of.
And then you can rip them off and duplicate anything you want.
Yeah, you're not afraid.
Everyone does. I want you to though.
I like that attitude. It's a good attitude because it shows that you're not afraid, and you know that you're going to come up with new ideas and creative ideas, and people can take your ideas because they're not going to implement them in the same way. They're not you. So sharing is the best way to do this.
I really, truly, I get people stuff and I'm like, oh, that was my postcard, but I love it because why not? Like you live in Omaha, we're not going to have the same people. Take what I do and go do it. Take my ideas and go do it. That's what this business is all about. I think when I started with Remax, people didn't share. They were just like, don't do what I'm doing. And I'm like, what? Like there's enough business to go around. Yeah. You can all send out postcards to, and you don't have the same people in your databases, right? So yeah.
Well, and that's the core of our culture too, Heather, is agents teaching agents. Yeah. And that's what we, that's what we started with is go ahead, be better than me, like that's, we want you to do that. Then pull me up and I'll pull you up. And, it all comes together. And I love and appreciate so much that you're so transparent. And I know Kristen said something about that too, your transparency and your ability to be able to be, to share all this. Some people are real surprised with that. And we're not, because that's what you do. Yeah, what we do. But yeah, anybody have anything else that they wanted to say or ask before we wrap this up? Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Tons of stuff. One last question. You said that when you hire somebody, you put them through a whole lot of steps. Do you do a personality, like a DISC, or do you do heritage profile or any of those?
We do the DISC.
You heard her.
And because I'm with Keller Williams, they have one that's called the KPA. As if anybody of you know any Keller Williams agents, just have them send those emails. But we do personality tests. I even, when I hire a marketing coordinator, I made them do an actual audit of all of my marketing, my social media, my website. They had to bring a presentation back. I mean, it's rigorous. I
Yeah.
want to make sure if I'm going to put the time, I get the right person. And so like I took my top 3 applicants and I did it with a transaction coordinator. You know, we have all these little things that we'll do and things that we're watching for. And even with sales agents, I will meet with them and like go over the disc. I'll validate like, where do you know, because you've got your strengths and then some of the things that your weaknesses. Let's talk about where you're good and where is this going to come up if I hire you. So I would use any tool that you can, because it's so easy for people just to bullshit you, because that's what happens, right? And then you end up with the wrong person.
Right.
They said the right things.
Yeah, wrong person said the right things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And having really unique interview questions, not your typical ones that you got to make people think a little
What's
bit.
your best question?
I think one of my favorites, I like to ask people what like the last book they read and what things that they read and what they watch on TV.
Huh.
You'll learn a lot about somebody.
Yeah.
If they're like, oh, I read Eat That Frog. And you're like, oh, great. Then you know a little bit about personal growth, right? If they're like, I haven't ever read a book. And I'm like, you've never read a book? Oh, okay. I mean, not everyone reads, but you can learn a lot. Like, oh, I sit at home all weekend and all I do is game all weekend long. I don't really watch TV. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, you want like-minded people that are going to be open to how you operate. And we're growth oriented. And if you're not growth oriented, you don't belong on my team, because we're going to grow. So yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thanks you guys for showing up. Bye.
Bye.